Do you think it's possible to get a strong hold in your curls without that hard, crunchy feeling and that wet look? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how to do so in this wash day routine and show you how to get these results. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Gina. I make videos all about naturally curly hair. I try and simplify things for beginners. I love breaking down ingredients and sharing the science behind our curls and why they behave the way that they do. I wanted to thank Curlsmith for partnering with me for this video to bring you a tutorial on how to achieve a stronger gel cast in your hair for the summertime. In the summertime, a lot of us are trying to prevent our hair from getting frizzy and humidity. So I'm going to share with you lots of tips and tricks on how to get a fuller look and a softer look, but still achieve that strong hold so you can get the benefits of having a strong gel cast. So let's first start off with what is a gel cast, or what is a cast in your hair? Well, that term basically refers to the film that is formed on your hair when you apply your gel and after it dries. You get this coating on your hair that actually helps kind of clump your curls and give you definition and also tame frizz. Getting a gel cast is one of the only ways to actually tame frizz. You can moisturize your hair to help with frizz, that definitely helps, but the only thing that's going to actually seal in frizz and kind of form frizz into a curl clump is a gel cast. A lot of times you can also get a cast from mousse products and sometimes creams, but not really as likely with creams. So mousse and gel products are one of the few styling products that can actually provide that cast for you to protect your hair against humidity and tame frizz. So let's go ahead and get started with the wash day routine. So we are first starting off with clean, damp hair. I've already washed my hair. I used the Curlsmith Color Vibrancy shampoo, and I used their new 3-in-1 conditioner as a deep conditioner, which is a protein-based deep conditioner. I prefer to damp style my hair, but I also do add in some water. I find that damp styling gives me more volume because I have low density hair, and I also am able to get a stronger gel cast. The more water that is in your hair, the more diluted your products will be and the less hold that your gel will have. But having hair that is too dry can result in stringy curls that are frizzy and just don't clump up very good. So in order to achieve that balance, I like to first wrap my hair in a hair repair towel, which is a cotton towel. It's a flat weave, it doesn't cause any frizz, just to absorb any excess water at my roots and also start to dry my hair just a little bit. It's only up in this towel for like maybe 2 minutes or so. Then when I take my hair down, I like to spritz my hair with some water using a spray bottle. You can also just use your hands under the faucet, but I like to add a little bit more water to any areas that are starting to get a little bit frizzy. It's definitely a fine line and you have to find the right balance of water. I don't personally recommend styling your hair soaking wet, like with water still dripping or with water still dripping down your scalp, because it's going to take your hair forever to dry, use way more product, and a lot of times your hair will just dry like it has no product in it at all because it's all been squeezed out and all been rinsed out with the water that's in your hair. So step number 2 is to apply some type of leave-in conditioner or curl cream. I really recommend doing this, especially if you have dry hair, if you have hair that's prone to getting frizzy, if you have high porosity hair. It tends to dry out very easily, and sometimes when you just use a gel, your hair can dry out on next day hair. But you want to go with a lighter weight cream or leave-in if you want to get a stronger gel cast. I'm actually going to be using a leave-in conditioner today. This is from Curlsmith. It's from their scalp recipe line. It's the weightless air dry cream. This is a leave-in conditioner for all hair types. It's very lightweight. This contains a lot of hydrating ingredients, so it's going to help moisturize your hair without weighing it down. The difference between a leave-in and a curl cream is usually leave-ins are more lightweight and they're simply to provide moisture and help with moisture retention. A curl cream is usually used more like a styler, like it's actually going to help change the appearance of your hair, maybe help with curl clumps and help with some curl formation and curl memory, and also provide moisture. You don't have to use both by any means. You can definitely just use one or the other. People with super dry hair like to use both, but I usually just pick one or the other. So the less curl cream or leave-in that you apply before your gel, the more hold you're going to get. So you want to use just a little bit of leave-in and a little bit of curl cream, whichever one you choose, but don't overdo it. The more of those soft conditioning products that you have in your hair, the softer your hair is going to turn out. You don't want there to be so much product in your hair that when you squeeze it, it all just kind of pours out. That's too much water and too much product. It's going to take your hair forever to dry, and that's really just going to soften your gel cast. You want it to be evenly coated, but not to where it's just soaking wet and just dripping all over the place. So now I'm going to section off my hair in order to more thoroughly apply my gel. It really helps to be a little bit more heavy-handed than normal with your gel when you're trying to get a stronger gel cast and also apply it more thoroughly. The downside though to sectioning off your hair when you're applying your products is sometimes you can get less volume, but I am going to show you some tricks on how to get a little bit more root lift and volume when you're doing the sectioning method. So for my gel, I'm going to be using the Curlsmith Shape Up Aqua Gel, which is a gel that is from their protein line. So using protein ingredients in your products will actually help hold your curls longer. I always notice whenever I use protein-based products, my curls stay intact a lot longer. If I don't use any protein, sometimes when I wake up the next day, my curls are kind of just hanging a little bit limp and stringy because protein really does help enhance curls. So I do recommend incorporating it in some type of product, whether that's your leave-in, your curl cream, or your gel. I personally really like it in my gels. I always get great results when using protein gel. So this is the lightest hold gel from Curlsmith, which you might be wondering, why are you using a light hold gel if this video is about how to get stronger hold? But that is because I'm going to be layering it with this gel, which is their in-shower style fixer, which is their strongest hold gel. That's one thing I love about Curlsmith products is they can all be mixed and matched, so you can really customize the look you're going for. I personally really like the results that I get from this because it has protein, it has a lot of slip, it's very watery, so it works really well with my hair, but it is a lighter hold. So by adding a little bit of this gel, I'm able to customize it to where I like the look of my hair, but I get a stronger hold. The other reason why I'm going to be layering it with this one is this one actually has ingredients that help block out humidity, whereas this one does not. This one though is lower in humectants. This has the lowest amount of humectants compared to the other gels in the Curlsmith line. So that's also why I chose it for this, because I know in the summertime you're trying to prevent humidity from getting to your hair, and a lot of humectants can just make your hair frizzy in humidity. So back to the Shape Up Aqua Gel, I'm applying this very thoroughly and I'm also using a lot of product. Like I said, the more product that you use, the more hold that you get. One of my other favorite gels from Curlsmith is their Styling Souffle, which is a whipped custard texture. That gel does really great at giving a medium to a strong hold, and the more product that you use, the stronger hold that you get. So that's another great option if you want to only use one product. I would recommend either going with the Styling Souffle or the Flexi Jelly. Both of those are great gels from Curlsmith that give a stronger hold than the Shape Up Aqua Gel. So in order to make sure that the product is evenly distributed and fully coated in my hair, I'm going to be using a styling brush to brush through my hair in sections. This is my Be Hairful brush. I like this one because I get clumps and I get very defined curls. It really gives you that ribbon-like curl effect, so I'm going to be using that to define my curls. You really want to focus on lifting the hair up and away from the scalp though. That's going to make sure that you get the most volume out of your style, because sometimes, like I said, when you're sectioning, you get less volume because you're being so precise with it and coating every single hair in gel. I personally like to use my gel before I use my styling brush. That way I can make sure that my hair is completely coated in the gel. Some people like just applying their curl creams and leave-ins with a brush, and then once they're done styling and defining all their curls, then they go in with a gel and just scrunch the gel in. But because you wouldn't want to disturb your curls and rake in your gel after you've already defined them, you can't really evenly coat your hair in the gel. So that's why applying the gel first and then defining it with the brush is a better method if you want to get stronger hold and a more even coverage of gel on your entire head. So after defining the curls, I went in with my hair repair towel just to scrunch out excess water. I felt like this section was pretty wet and I didn't want it to be that wet, but keep in mind when you do this, this can remove some product which will result in less hold. So a lot of times after I do this, I will go in with a light layer of gel. So that's why I did this before going in with the in-shower style fixer. So now it's time to go in with the in-shower style fixer. I'm only using a tiny little bit of this because it's super thick, and this can really weigh down my hair if I use too much product, and it makes it look too oily because it does have a lot of oils in it if I use a lot. So I'm using the tiniest pea size amount, and I'm also mixing it with some water in my palms just to help it spread more evenly. And then I'm just going to gently rope that in my curls and also scrunch with it. I don't need to be as precise with this because I'm mainly just using it sort of like a sealant and to help protect my hair against humidity, because like I said, this is their strongest hold gel, and it also has polyquaternium 69, which is an ingredient that helps block out humidity. So that is why I'm layering the two, so I can get the best of both worlds. You can, of course, just use the in-shower style fixer. I've done routines just using this gel before, but I didn't like my results quite as much as when I've used other gels like the Shape Up Aqua Gel. So while I'm defining the rest of my curls and applying the rest of my stylers, let's talk about some of the ingredients to look for in a gel, because this is super important to make sure you're getting strong hold. The first thing you want to look for is water. Make sure that your gel has water as one of the first ingredients, because that's going to help distribute the product. It's going to help give you curl definition and hydrate the hair. The next category of ingredients that you want to look for strong hold are polymers. Polymers are ingredients that are actually going to help give your hair that gel cast when it dries. I'll put up some examples of some common polymers that are found in gels here on the screen. The next category of ingredients are polyquat ingredients. Polyquats are known for their ability to block out humidity, help retain moisture. They almost kind of act like a silicone, but they're not silicones, and I personally like them better than silicones because they are more effective without causing a lot of buildup. Some people say that polyquats can cause buildup, but I think that would only be certain polyquats, certain ones that build up more than others. And I regularly clarify my hair, and I also use a lathering shampoo. So the polyquat ingredient that is in the in-shower style fixer is polyquaternium at 69. The next ingredient is glycerin, which a lot of you know that glycerin is a water-loving ingredient that helps bring water from the air into your hair, which can be bad if you live in a very humid environment. That can make your hair get frizzy and humidity. But in my personal opinion, when I've found products that also have polyquat ingredients combined with glycerin, I don't get negative effects from glycerin because those are helping to seal and protect the hair from humidity. If your gel doesn't have any humectants in it at all, it can be very drying. So the next set of ingredients you want to look for stronger hold products are film-forming humectants. That might seem a little bit counterintuitive of why humectants would help with hold, because usually humectants are just great at bringing in moisture and keeping your hair moisturized, but film-forming humectants actually create a film on the hair, which is sort of like a barrier, which can help give it that structure and definition. This is a little bit different though than an actual polymer or polyquat, because it's not necessarily waterproofing your hair, but it is creating that definition and creating that light cast on the hair. A lot of times you will find that very natural products like Curlsmith have a lot of film-forming humectants in them versus some of the polymers and polyquat ingredients, because they're natural plant-based ingredients that can help create the film, which gives you that definition. So some common film-forming humectants are flaxseed and aloe. These are the most common ones that I see all the time in gels. I'll put the rest here up on the screen, but the Curlsmith Styling Souffle has both flaxseed and aloe in it. That's why I think I like that gel so much, because it has lots of slip and it also gives it very good definition and gives you that cast that can be reactivated with water. So after I'm done applying both gels all over my hair and everything is looking good, sometimes I will go in with another light layer of the in-shower style fixer just to make sure all the frizz is tamed and just give it like an overall veil of that humidity protection. Another little tip for volume is you could skip using the in-shower style fixer, or even skip using your defining brush on the inside layers. That way it's not as visible, but it can help give your hair more fullness if you have low density hair, because it's not as defined and clumped together on the inner layer, so it might help kind of plump up your hair a little bit. So now let's talk about diffusing. I personally recommend diffusing over air drying because I always lose my gel cast when I'm air drying. I always end up with more frizz and my curls just dry stringy. Especially if you're going to be going outside, you would not want to go outside in humidity when your hair is wet with products. That's just a recipe for frizz. So I personally think that when you diffuse your hair right away, or even if you air dry for just a little bit and then diffuse, that you get a stronger gel cast, because you're able to set that cast right away, so there's no time for your hair to start to get frizzy. If you have high porosity hair, I definitely recommend doing this. This might look a little bit weird, but I like to hover and plop diffuse. I guess you could call this plop diffusing, but I basically lean over on my counter and plop my hair on top of the counter, kind of like an accordion, press my hair up to my head, and then I hover my diffuser. Hovering is a lot healthier for your hair. This is something I recently implemented, and it really helps if you don't touch your hair with your diffuser as the gel cast is setting. That way you're not disturbing it. Just like with air drying, you're not messing up the gel cast and causing frizz by really touching your hair a lot with the diffuser. So what I like to do is just hover around my head for a little bit, let the gel cast start to set, which usually happens pretty quickly because my hair is high porosity. And I also like to kind of turn to the side and even just set my diffuser down. This is kind of like a lazy way of diffusing because you don't actually have to hold it, but it is nice at shrinking up those inside layers. And the reason that I do this is because if I were to just hover upright or even upside down without my hair being pressed up at all, I wouldn't get as much shrinkage and definition, and my curls would kind of just hang loose and stringy. That look is totally fine if that's what you're going for. If you like looser curls or if you're not looking to really shrink up your curls, that can totally work. But I personally like mine to be a little bit more defined, and I like getting that shrinkage. So once my gel cast starts to set a little bit, but not fully, that's usually when I flip my hair up right side, and I actually use my diffuser to scrunch diffuse. And by scrunching diffusing, you're actually able to really shrink up your curls, because sometimes if I just do the plop diffusing method the entire time, I don't get quite as much curl definition at the root. So by doing this, I'm not gonna get frizz because I've already set the gel cast a little bit, but I'm still able to get that definition at the root that I really like and get that root volume. But one tip I wanted to mention is when you are going in with your diffuser prongs into your hair, make sure you are not moving your diffuser around too much. If you're just going crazy with it, that can cause frizz and really destroy your gel cast. Another little tip, if you notice any frizz start to form while you're diffusing, or you might have any patchy areas that didn't get as much gel, you can always stop diffusing and then go and touch up your hair. Just apply a little bit of water to your hands, a little bit more gel, and smooth over any areas that are starting to look frizzy. A lot of people also like to take a hairspray and just spritz some in the middle of diffusing, or even maybe use a mousse in the middle of diffusing, and that can help add another layer of gel. So diffusing your hair for too long can actually cause you to lose your gel cast, because once your hair starts to completely dry and then you're still diffusing, you're kind of blowing away that gel cast. Unless if you have a super strong hold gel, then it might not happen at all. But a lot of times I will stop diffusing when my hair is about 95% dry and let it finish air drying. That gives me the most gel cast when I do that method. So that's what I did here. I stopped diffusing and I just let my hair sit for about an hour while I did other things. But if you don't have time for that, totally go and finish drying your hair with diffusing. It's just another tip to keep in mind to increase your gel cast. But if you do get any frizzy patches, this happened to me a lot when I was transitioning, where my ends would always dry frizzy because they were damaged and very high porosity, so they just lose moisture and they lose products very easily. It really was hard to get my damaged ends to hold on to product. So I would always have to do this tip, and basically what I do is once I'm done diffusing, I'm seeing some frizzy areas, I apply a little bit of gel to my hands. Sometimes I add in some water depending on how watery my gel is. The Shape Up Aqua Gel already has a lot of water in it. It's very liquidy and watery, so you don't really need to add more water to this. And what I do is I just pick up any of the curls that are looking frizzy and smooth over them. Now I'm not disturbing that curl clump or that curl pattern. I'm not breaking up that curl structure. I'm just smoothing over it by just cupping my hand over it to smooth the frizz. You can also kind of twirl your finger around if you want to finger coil it a little bit and just kind of blend any frizzies into that curl clump. And for any frizzy ends, a lot of times I will just scrunch some of that product in, or I will pick up the curls individually and just define them with my finger that has some gel and maybe a little bit of water on it. You could also try just using water for this. Like I mentioned, these gels can be reactivated very well with water, and that just means that when you add water and then let it dry, that cast comes back. And then if your ends are hanging stringy after you've already re-wet them to redefine them, you can take your diffuser and just hit them for a second. I recommend doing this on low heat or even cold air and just holding it for a second. That way everything is even again and it's all hanging the same, because sometimes once you wet your hair, those pieces can kind of dry scraggly all over the place. This happened to me all the time when my hair was damaged. Once I finally got all the damage cut off, I don't really have this issue as much anymore. So here's how my hair looks once I'm completely done with it and the gel cast is still in. You can see how much definition that it has, but it doesn't really have much volume because I haven't scrunched out the crunch yet. You can totally leave your hair like this. This is what I used to do all the time when my hair was damaged, because anytime I would break up the gel cast, it would just get super frizzy and it wouldn't hold up throughout the week. But now that my hair has gotten healthier, I really like scrunching out the gel cast because I get that softer look, but I still have the benefits of the strong hold. And scrunching out the crunch basically just means when you are breaking up that curl cast using your dry hands after your hair is completely dry to help soften the curls and not make them look so hard and crunchy. This also helps give you a lot more volume and more fullness to your hair. If I was going to be outside though for a lot of the day, or if I really wanted my style to last longer, or if I was styling at night and about to to go to bed, I would make sure that I leave the gel cast in completely, because then it will protect your hair while you sleep and also protect your hair when you're out in humidity if you were gonna be outside. And as you go throughout the day, the gel cast will naturally just soften up as you move around throughout the day and as you go outside. So in order to scrunch out the crunch, you want to make sure your hair is completely dry, no dampness in your hair. You don't want to be touching your hair when it is still wet, because that will just create frizz. Another thing that I like to do to increase the volume and fullness of my hair and avoid that very wet look is I do like to separate some of the curl clumps. You can do this when your hair is wet, when you still have stylers and your hair in water. You can separate the curls then, or you can do it after it's dry. Try both of them and see which one works better for you. Sometimes when you're separating them when they're dry, and if your hair is very damaged, it can just cause frizz, so you might want to do it when it's wet. It also helps make your curls not as transparent. If you have low density hair like me, you can kind of see through your hair, and the way that I make my hair look fuller and more plump is by separating a lot of those curl clumps. I've done a whole video all about how to get more curl clumps if you want to check that out, and I also share more tips on how to get that balance between having some clumps but not too many clumps, because if you have low density hair like me, you know that too many clumps can just make you look like you have no hair. So you can also apply a little bit of oil or serum to your hands before you go and scrunch out the crunch. You don't normally see me do this because I think it softens it too much to where you lose all the gel cast, but some people really like to do this. It can sometimes add an additional layer of humidity protection if you were using a humidity-proof oil, like a sealing oil. You can look for ingredients like jojoba seed oil, which is a good sealing oil that can help block out humidity and sort of waterproof your hair. Silicones also do this as well, but I don't personally use silicones in my hair, so I usually skip this step. Curlsmith does have a serum though. It's actually a solid serum. I haven't tried it before, but I would love to try it next. So my last and final tip to actually keep the gel cast in your hair is to protect your curls at night and throughout the day if you're just gonna be staying home and laying around. There's two easy ways to do that. One is using a satin or silk bonnet. This is what I personally like to sleep in because it keeps my curls up off my neck, keeps them protected and keeps them intact. It also helps keep them defined because I'm kind of like plopping my hair on top of my head, then putting this on, and it keeps them intact. Another way to protect your curls at night is using a satin scarf. This one is actually from Curlsmith. This scarf you can actually get right now at Ulta. If you spend $30 or more at Ulta on Curlsmith products, you can get this free scarf. So it comes free with your purchase. So definitely check that out. It's only available, I think, for a limited time through June. I will put the dates here, or I'll put them down below in the description box, but I've been loving wearing this actually during the day when I don't want to mess up my curls. I'm actually going to be posting a tutorial on how I put this on and how I tie it over on my Instagram, so if you want to check that out, I will have a link down below, but I will have an Instagram Reels video up about how I use this on my hair to protect my curls when I'm staying home, or even if you were going out. If you were going to be out in the summer, like at the pool or the beach, this would be a great way to protect your curls while still looking cute. And how cute is this? It has pineapples on it, perfect for summer. So it's actually the next day now, and I wanted to share with you how my hair looks after taking it down out of the bonnet. It's been a couple hours since I've had it out of the bonnet, but I don't even have to refresh my hair. That is the great thing about having a strong hold and using these humidity-proof products, that I don't even have to refresh my hair. The only thing that I did was these two pieces were looking frizzy, so all I did was touch them up with water. And look at that, the gel cast reactivated perfectly. These were all frizzy and messed up, and now they look perfect. So just a little bit of water on some curls that were looking a little frizzy. I just smoothed them over and I was good to go. I didn't even have to diffuse, just shook out my roots a little bit, and it's really softened up. I love the way that a stronghold gel looks on next day hair because it softens up really good, but you still have the frizz protection because you use the stronghold gel. So loving this combination, definitely going to be using it more for the summertime. It's always nice when you don't have to refresh and you can just get up and go. So that is it for my tips on how to get a stronger gel cast. If you have any tips on how to get a stronger cast, definitely let us know in the comments down below. I would love for you to leave me your tips below. I'm going to summarize all of this on the blog post that goes with this video, which will be linked in the description box down below, where you can see a step-by-step routine. You'll get a summary of the steps that I did in this wash day routine and a summary of the tips. I also have a discount code for Curlsmith where you can get 10% off all their products. So I will put that coupon code down below along with the links to the products. Thank you so much to Curlsmith for partnering with me for this video and also for providing the code for everyone to use. I really appreciate it. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you do so before you go, and I hope to see you back next week. Bye everyone.